Well, hey there, American Farmsteaders. This is Jenny with the Gramstead Family Farm.
And Donna with Hazel Bell Farm.
And we are coming to y'all from Northeast Florida as two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you would grow a little food of your own.
Yep. And this week we are talking about growing out our meat birds, our chickens specifically.
Yes, growing out meat chickens, because what other way can you take 8 to 10 weeks of your life and essentially grow a year's worth of chicken?
That's right. Easily.
Easily, you know? You just got to have the gumption and the motivation to do it. Set it up, learn how to butcher those chickens, and you can literally stock your freezer for the whole year.
Yeah. A one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. I like it. I mean, I don't like it when I'm doing it, but every time I do it after we're finished, it just feels so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
It's nice to have a freezer full.
and it's peace of mind. Yeah. Yeah. Food security. And,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about all we get from it.
Yeah.
So let's start with, because this is a question we get often, is about raising meat chickens and butchering and all of that. So what is the best kind of bird I should be shopping for if I've never done this before?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to note that, you know, a lot of people that aren't already raising their own food are very used to what's in the grocery store. And if you look at chicken in the grocery store, largely by and by, they are going to be your Cornish cross broilers.
Right.
Those are the commercial broiler breed.
Right. There's a lot of criticism about raising them on
There
the small
really
farm,
is.
small scale, but you know, there's a place for them. There's for sure a place for them. And I'll as long as we can source them, I absolutely will.
Right. I mean, Cornish cross, they're a hybrid breed, so they're not sustainable.
Right.
You know, every time we do a batch, we got to call up the hatchery and get them from the hatchery. It's not
Yeah.
like you can breed them yourself.
And I think that's my biggest drawback with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, for sustainability reasons, it's not practical. But like you said, while they're available and while we can order them from the hatchery,
Why not?
we're going to be ordering them from the hatchery.
Right. Why not? Yeah. And I've actually heard people say that they're like a GMO meat. Like they're not. Like GMO is something that's done in a lab, right? It's all about science and the cells and all that. No, this is just it's a hybrid bird.
Cornish cross, it's a hybrid breed. It is a cross between a Cornish Indian game chicken and a white Plymouth Rock chicken.
Yes.
Yes.
We raised Plymouth Rocks when I was a kid. That's what we raised for meat birds. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know. I mean, Cornish cross, I don't think was like a popular thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I was a kid. So.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing somewhere that the Cornish cross breed actually came onto the scene like around 1940-ish.
Okay, so it was definitely a thing.
Is when it became like available.
Right.
And that's kind of when people started like cooking whole broiler chickens. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm thinking about that time frame in the space of World War II and that.
Right.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, your Cornish cross is going to be like your grocery store bird. So
it's going to be what you're used to.
It's going to be what you're used to. There are some other hybrid breeds out there that I personally love, like the Freedom Ranger.
Oh, they're so good.
They're so good. It's a little bit more of a richer, kind of earthier chicken flavor. They get nice and big. They're a little wild to raise. They're Freedom Rangers. So
nice big drumsticks.
nice big drumsticks. They're a little flighty and a little wild, but the meat's really good. So we really liked them. But when we raised them for customers, I actually had a customer email me and say, "Nobody likes your chicken."
Okay, well we do.
And it was the first time I had ever raised those to sell.
For sale, yeah.
And so people are just accustomed to the grocery store bird. That was the whole point of that.
Right.
Yeah.
I say try them and see if it works out for your family if you're looking
Yeah.
for something to raise at home. Now they do take a little bit longer to raise than your
do.
Cornish. Your Cornish are going to be like 8 to 10 weeks, like
Yep.
we said. And the Freedom Rangers, if I remember right, were closer to like 16 weeks.
Yeah, 14
Okay.
to 16 weeks. I think we did ours at 16 weeks. I actually have a YouTube video where I raised a batch of Cornish cross and Freedom Rangers side by side
I
and
forgot that.
and butchered them. And it was like a little experiment that we did.
I'm going to
And
link your video.
yeah, we really liked the Freedom Rangers. So, and so another thing with the Cornish Cross, like you kind of briefly touched on this, like they get a bad rap. They get a bad rap for health problems and leg problems and heart issues and all that.
Which, if you're watching like a food documentary like Food Inc. or something like that, right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, so some like they will showcase the worst of the worst. You know, a chicken house where they never get outside. They're crammed into 1 square foot per bird spaces. They're sitting in their manure with ammonia burns on their breast. Right. So if you're watching that, yes, it's that bird. It's that white bird.
Yes.
But you can raise them more humanely than that and have healthy birds full of feathers even, you know?
Yeah, like I'm not finding that when we pasture raise our Cornish cross in chicken tractors that we're having chickens just fall over and die of heart attacks. And
not for the most part. Every now and then.
You might have the occasional like leg injury, but a lot of the times that's maybe because I ran it over with the tractor or
the movable tractor, the movable coupe. Right, not like
an actual
tractor.
Diesel tractor.
Right.
So
yeah, they're not real quick. They don't fly.
No, they're not real quick.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I think that they probably have less problems when you're raising them at home in your backyard and you're taking care of them.
Right. Yeah, I really am glad we touched on that. That's an important conversation to have.
Yeah.
So then there's some other broilers also, right, besides the Freedom Ranger, and they're kind of all similar.
They are all similar. There's the ginger broiler that a lot of hatcheries sell, which they have a similar build to a Cornish cross, but they still take longer to grow out. I actually want to try them. They say that they're ready in like 12 to 14 weeks. Still a little bit meatier, like a little bit more breast meat like the Cornish cross, whereas the Freedom Rangers have a little bit more dark meat compared to breast meat.
And even the breast meat on the Freedom Ranger, it's darker than your Cornish cross breast meat.
It really is.
And it's just, I don't know, it's definitely a better flavor.
It really is.
I love
it. It's really good.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, like, what does your family enjoy?
What are your goals?
Yeah, like, do you want to piece out a chicken and do bone-off breast fillets? You know, like, if that's what you're wanting to do, you might want to go with Cornish cross. If you like drumsticks and chicken wings, you know, and thighs, you might want to go with Freedom Ranger.
Yeah, and then you have to look at like your time frame also, because like we said, like one raises out faster than the other. How much time do you have?
Right.
Before hurricane season, right?
Specifically.
Or, you know, like, you know, maybe you don't have access to, I know a lot of people are purchasing feed like once a month or something like that. Like they don't want to have 3 feed purchases.
Right.
Or, you know, there's all kinds of reasons you would want a shorter or a longer grow out.
Yeah.
Vacations, just life in general as you're planning. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and just a little word of advice here. If you are going to raise out your own meat chickens, really try to find a feed mill where you can buy feed in bulk.
You're going to save. That's going to be your first saving.
That's going to be a big savings. If you can find it for cheaper and buy it in bulk, we're lucky we have a feed mill here that, you know, grinds everything right there and bags it right there. And, I mean, gosh, it's like almost half the cost.
Right.
Per bag, per 50-pound bag.
You know, that's funny. I had some guests over at my house last week, and we were walking cows, and our chickens were out cleaning up cow patties, you know, and I was explaining, like, that's what they're supposed to do, you know. And she said, oh, and I said, it helps cut the feed bill down. These are my layers now.
Right.
And she said, she looked at me, like, kind of confused, and she was like, that's gross, you know. And I said, no, they're birds. That's what they do.
They're chickens.
And that's part of their purpose on our farm. And, you know, she questioned, like, they have a handful of layers and they're not totally suburban, not totally rural, something in between. I think they're like on an acre kind of thing, you know. And she said, oh, well, you know, we get our 1 bag at a time from Tractor Supply. And I looked at her confused, like, and said, Tractor Supply? Like,
really?
That's expensive. And she said, really? Well, yes. I guess not if you're buying for 4 birds.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I don't even know how many layers I have. I really don't know. I mean, I'm going to guess 25 to 30, and then plus my meat birds I'm growing out.
Right.
I have somewhere like 45 to 50-ish, maybe 55. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I said, oh, well, we buy in bulk. You know, we make the drive to the nearest mill and buy in bulk. And she said, oh, do you really even save any though that way by driving there?
Oh my
I was like,
goodness.
girl.
Do I save anything?
Yeah. So I asked her, how much do you spend on a bag of feed? And she said she gets a 40-pound bag for $20-ish. I think she said it's like $21.
Right.
I said, oh, okay. Well, when we buy in bulk by the ton or the half ton,
Right.
even the quarter ton is the first discount they offer. I'm buying 50-pound bags for about $10.
Right. And even if you go in and buy one 50-pound bag, it's like $13.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's substantially less.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're considering a grow out batch, a big batch of birds.
Right.
Like we're talking about.
And in the beginning, it might be kind of hard to gauge, like how much feed should I buy? But
We're going to get to that in a minute.
we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah. In a little bit. Okay. So
Yeah.
breeds.
So breeds.
So besides like a broiler breed, could you just go get any old chicken and make it a meat chicken?
Well, I mean, technically you can eat any old chicken, but
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely not going to have the quality and amount of meat that you would think it would. Yeah, I don't know if, you know, whenever you like butcher a rooster, the roosters always look huge, and then you
Right.
butcher them and you defeather them, and they're like a bag of bones.
Yeah, I liken that to a wet cat. Like if you have
Right.
a poofy cat and then you give her a bath,
Yeah.
it's like nothing to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to be with your standard like egg layers. It's a very large class of dual purpose breeds that are good for egg laying and also meat production. I myself do not have a whole lot of experience in raising dual purpose birds, but
I have a little bit,
yeah.
and I'll tell you, we weren't pleased with it compared to raising broilers.
Right. I mean, broilers were bred for a reason and to be like they are. So the dual purpose breeds, they're probably going to have a little bit more meat than an egg laying breed, but,
And you get eggs out of
and
them.
you get eggs out of them,
Not necessarily for production.
and they're sustainable.
That's the plus. They are sustainable.
They're sustainable. So
You can close the loop.
exactly, you know, in a situation where you can't call the hatchery, you are going to want some dual purpose birds for meat and for eggs. So
Right.
without further ado, the first on the list is the turkin, the naked neck chicken.
They're so ugly.
I know they're so
They're
necks,
also so cute.
they gross me out. I had a turkin that
I had a couple.
Our yard stutter friend Sarah, she can't have roosters where they live, and so they bought this turkin thinking that it was a hen, and it ended up being a rooster. His name was Sweet Pete, and so Sweet Pete ended up coming to live at my farm, and I just realized not too long ago that he was gone. I don't know what happened to him.
Well,
So something got Sweet Pete.
some kind of predator.
Sorry, y'all. So yeah, the turkins, they're said to grow out to be pretty big, you know, and will give you a decent amount of meat. And pretty much any broiler, you're going to have to wait until they're like, I'm sorry, not broiler, any dual purpose breed.
Right.
You're going to have to wait at least 4 or 5 months before you can even think about butchering them for meat.
That's what we did, why we didn't care for them. It wasn't even that it was the time, but by the time the bird is that age, the meat starts to get tougher.
Right.
You know, it's like butchering an old cow.
Right.
Or, you know, I mean, but birds in particular, the older they get, the tougher they are.
Yeah.
So, even like your layers, if you want to keep some of these dual purpose breeds as a layer flock, and then with keeping in mind that you want to butcher them at the end of their laying life, like a lot of homesteaders do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a tough meat. And so you may want to like pressure cook those or can them or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be good to can, or chicken noodle soup.
Yeah,
or
stew them.
bone broth.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
all
You
that.
you can certainly do that. But if you're looking for cuts of meat to put on the table, we didn't care for any of the dual purpose that we tried. Delawares were one that we did.
Yeah.
And so that's on our list of dual purpose.
Yeah.
They're nice and plump, but by the time we butchered them, I think they were between 20 to 24 weeks, and they were a bit tough.
Yeah.
So we didn't care for it. Yeah. I mean, it did make really good chicken noodle soup, though. I will
Right.
say, like, we used it. It was usable meat. We just didn't care for it, on the grill or that
Right.
kind of
It's not
thing.
something you're going to roast in the oven
Right.
and serve as like a nice looking bird,
Right.
like a table bird. No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so the Brahmas are another one that's on the list,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually, that was one of the original meat chickens before the Cornish cross was bred.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people raised Brahmas.
Our rooster is half Brahma.
They're big.
Mm-hmm.
They get to be big birds.
Yeah, they are big.
Yeah,
That makes sense then.
yep. Breese, breasts.
Oh, yes,
Breese,
we have-
How do you say it? Is it breese or breast?
I have tomato.
Okay.
I say breast,
You say breast.
but I don't know if I'm right or not.
I have no idea.
I've heard both of them. Somebody, I'm sure, will tell us that we're right and wrong.
Right.
I have raised these, and I did like them a lot.
Okay.
We did like them.
Emily has these too, doesn't she?
She has. I don't think she has
Okay.
them. Yeah, I don't think she does them like regularly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
They're
they,
supposed to have really good flavor.
excellent flavor.
Excellent egg layers too.
We're looking at each
Talking
other
about-
like, what are we doing?
Talking myself into some dual purpose chickens right now is what I'm doing in my head.
Yeah, they were good actually. And the only reason that I stopped doing those was because we did a big butcher.
Okay.
We moved.
Okay.
And then the person I was getting them from was not doing them anymore as far as chicks go.
Right.
We might need to start that back up.
Yeah. Buff Orpingtons. I actually have a couple Buff Orpingtons
I do
in the
too.
backyard right now.
I do too. I have a few Orpingtons as well.
But they're great layers.
Yeah, they are good layers. Mine always go broody.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really good for sustainability.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't get to the hatchery, you're definitely going to want you a broody hen. So, yeah, Orpingtons are really friendly too.
Yeah, they are. They are one of those birds that you can have with kids who want to carry their birds around.
Yeah, very docile. So another good choice for a dual purpose, Wyandotte.
Wyandotte?
Wyandotte.
Wine?
A tomato.
Tomato, yeah. yeah,
Those
they're
are
good.
so pretty. And see, that's my thing. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would want to butcher a chicken that was that pretty.
Really?
Yeah, the laced ones, they're so pretty.
They are pretty. It sounds
I mean, I
a
guess
little,
if I was hungry and I really needed to butcher the chicken,
Right.
the chicken would go. But
right.
if I had a choice,
Butcher the ugly ones.
I'm
Is-
sorry,
isn't-
not sorry.
Isn't this the conversation we have with not farm people all the time about our animals, Jenny? Oh, okay. What about Australorps?
Yes.
Yep.
I actually have some of those too.
A lot of people raise these as a dual purpose. They
Those
do
are
make
great
yeah,
layers too.
They're excellent layers
Excellent
for
egg
production.
layers.
Yeah, we have butchered them not because we raised a batch of them, but just
Right.
because we had them and needed to be butchered here and there.
Right.
And same thing, they had to be stew meat.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of these birds kind of fall into the category of like, it's how grandma did it. Like, it was grandma going out into the backyard and getting a chicken and wringing its neck and just doing like one or two chickens at a time.
Right.
And you don't really hear of many people doing like a whole batch.
Well, there was
of-
no like deep freezer in every home.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that wasn't a thing.
I mean, even like these days, like you don't hear of somebody doing a whole batch of dual purpose meat chickens.
No, Australorps I see a lot of though.
Do you?
Yeah, some homestead channels on YouTube.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's a popular one.
Okay.
Any others?
Speckled Sussex, Dominique's, Jersey Giant.
Oh yeah,
I'm actually
they're a good layer too.
Yeah, I'm actually about to help some friends butcher some Jersey Giants that they have raised out that they're done with. So I'll be super interested to see how those birds turn out
Yeah,
because they're big.
yeah, they are big.
They're big birds. I've never had a Jersey Giant hen. We used to have a Jersey Giant rooster when we lived out in Texas, and it was like the biggest chicken ever.
We had a hen, and she was our biggest chicken ever, and she didn't do any. She just sat around. She was so lazy. She was the laziest bird ever. She just sat there,
I guess that's why she was so big.
big, large,
Right.
but she just sat. Yeah.
Okay, so Plymouth Rocks.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the parents of the Cornish cross hybrid we mentioned, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I do hear some homesteaders talk about the Buckeyes
Okay.
as well for a meat bird. They're supposed to be a good dual purpose
I
meat
don't
bird.
know anything about them.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about them. I do know that they're good for the cold.
Okay.
You know,
Maybe
so-
that's why.
Maybe that's why we're in Florida.
We don't have that. What's cold?
The Dorking is another popular one that you hear about that grow out to be a pretty decent size.
Mm-hmm.
They're funny little looking birds too.
They are. They're kind of squatty.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
The dark Cornish.
Which is it similar to a Cornish cross?
Yeah, I mean, it's compact and it has a lot of breast meat.
Okay.
A good layer of brown eggs.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Nice. Also the Cornish
Also the Cornish and the White
and
Rock.
the White Rock. Yep.
The Macs on YouTube, they gave up raising Cornish cross, and so they were trying to do like their own meat chickens, and they got a bunch of White Rocks, and I don't remember the other breed, but they were crossing their own and trying to like find the perfect combination of bird that was good for their liking.
Cool.
So that would be kind of a fun thing to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Do what works for you.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's talk about feed. You want
Yes.
to talk about feed, or you want to talk about where to get these breeds?
Yeah, I mean, well, you've got choices when it comes to your chicks. Of course, you know, you can always go to your local feed store, which are probably only going to have them seasonally.
Once or twice a year.
Right, unless you have a really cool place like Charlie's Chicks, like we do,
Yes.
where they have chicks like year round.
Yes.
They have pretty much any kind of bird. That,
Yeah.
I mean, like his selection is huge.
They have really cool stuff. They have some like more like exotic kind of chickens that you don't necessarily find everywhere that you would get at your feed store. You know, you could probably order them.
Yeah.
But
You could probably order them. They might be a
Yeah.
little bit cheaper if you order them, but you know, if you had a place like that and you wanted to just support a local business, that's cool too.
yeah, they have a lot of cool stuff. And then they have your run-of-the-mill stuff that most people are looking for. And they also have your Cornish cross and Freedom Ranger, stuff like that.
Right.
The cool thing about Charlie's, if you go visit there, and I didn't mean for this to be a Charlie's plug, but
Right.
he's sponsoring our convention, so thanks, Charlie. The cool thing about it is they also run chicken tractors out front, and they supply to the local CSAs, and so you can see in person what a tractor setup looks like.
Right.
And then you can visit like the hatchery, like the chicken houses where they keep the chicks and that
Right.
kind of thing. And then they also sell non-GMO feed, so
Yeah.
like you can get on a schedule.
Right.
So they're pretty cool in Baldwin, here in
Nice.
Florida.
Nice.
Cool people.
So yeah, your local people, your local feed store, but again, that's going to be seasonal. They're only going to order so many different varieties. So you know, if there's like a specific meat bird you're actually looking for that you know that you want, hatchery might be the best choice. I always recommend to order from a hatchery that is at least in your region.
Right.
Especially if you're ordering early in the year when it's still really cold out, you know, because baby chicks need heat and they can die in the cold.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and they're getting shipped. So like,
right, you're buying them from the hatchery, they're getting shipped to the post office.
And on that note, I'll say the more you order together, the better for the birds, but also the better for your wallet. So like go in with a friend and
Yeah.
get a bunch. I noticed in the last few orders that we placed, I had one smaller order. I had like a great big, that's what it was. I had a great big order. And so it came in two
Right.
boxes, a big box and a
little
smaller
box.
box. The big box, they were all fine. They were all chipper.
Yep.
All of them survived. They did great. The little box, not so much.
Right.
They mostly died. Several were dead upon arrival. And then most of the rest, I think like 2 out of 20 lived.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of them died throughout the first day that I had them. Now the hatchery replaced them. So like
Right.
there's that, but I don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, order a big bunch, find out like how many they ship in each box and try to get that even amount. And then again, if you order with a friend, you can get a good bulk discount, and because the price per bird goes down with the more that you order.
Yes.
We've done that several times.
Yeah, and have your brooder set up. Like if you know that you've ordered meat chickens, or
Right.
you know you're going to go to the feed store and pick up your chicks, do everybody a favor and just have that brooder set up and ready to go. That way, when you get the chicks home, you can dip their beaks in water immediately and get them into a warm brooder.
Yep.
Because at that point, they are really going to be craving some heat and some water. Really, for the first day or so, I really find that they don't eat a whole lot.
Right.
Of course, you always have feed in there for them, but they really want that water and that heat on that first day in the brooder.
Yeah,
So
water especially.
have that set up and ready to go. Be careful with what waterer you put in there too, because baby chicks are dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they will get into the water
And die.
And die. They will get
Yeah.
cold and
Especially
they will
your
die.
Cornish cross.
I know,
Like,
they're
what is
so
their problem?
dumb.
They really are stupid. Yeah, they'll want to swim in it, and they're not waterfowl, so like they can't regulate body heat, and
Yeah.
they'll die.
Yeah. So you can take like little, like I've done like fish tank pebbles before and put little pebbles in the bottom of the water. That way it's just not deep enough for them to fall in there and drown. So definitely pay attention to stuff like that.
Yep, for sure.
And then the good rule of thumb for heat lamp is 1 heat lamp for every 25 chickens.
Yeah, I didn't have enough heat lamps this year. I'm like, why am I losing birds? I don't mean to laugh about it, but I'm laughing at myself, not the fact that I lost birds.
Right.
But yeah, they were all huddled together, and whoever was on the bottom didn't make it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, one to 25 at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So feed. Let's talk feeding meat chickens.
Yeah, let's.
Because boy, they eat a lot.
Yeah. I'm just posted a blog post on our website, AmericanFarmsteaders.com.
Yes, you just posted a blog post about raising broilers and how much feed do meat chickens eat?
Yes. So
A lot.
a lot is the answer. So this is specifically to your Cornish cross,
Right.
Because those birds that are dual purpose, they're not going to eat as much, and they're going to take longer. And there's no like real good chart for that. There's no real good information
No.
for that. So you'll just have to play around with numbers and keep track and figure that out. So for your Cornish cross, which is what most people are growing out for meat, that's why we went with this. Your birds are going to eat about 22.5 pounds over the course of 11 weeks.
Okay.
Now, I don't recommend 11 weeks, but life happens.
Right.
Like sometimes we've gone 12 weeks, and they're laying eggs.
I've kept Cornish cross that long and
Yeah.
had zero issues.
Yeah.
I've had a Cornish cross live to be 3.5 years old,
Right. Oh, yeah. We've had a couple like that. Yeah.
And he was giant.
Yeah. We had a big fat one that would, it was just like she was too small to butcher when we butchered, so we kept
Right.
her. Kind of
That's
like
what
there's
happened to
always
me.
one like that,
There's
right?
always one like that, yeah.
And so we kept her, and she lived a couple of years, but every day I had kept, my chickens were next to my garden, and I had a wagon between the two, and every day she would jump up into the wagon and leave an egg. It was the funniest thing. And then, I mean, she didn't live as long as my other egg layers, you know,
Right.
and I know it was her. I saw her do it. It was hilarious. So she could still jump up into the wagon, even though she was a meat bird and had
Right.
like meat bird legs.
Right.
She did it. So yeah, I don't recommend going past 10 weeks. Once you hit 8 weeks, the feed conversion reduces significantly. So like 8 weeks is your target. 8 to 10 is our primary goal. After 8, yes, they will still grow, but they
Right.
will eat a lot more for
Yeah.
what they put on.
For what they're gaining.
Right. So
Yeah.
10 is our favorite. 9 to 10 is our favorite. But just know that your best feed conversion is at 8 weeks.
And so you've got here in your blog post that if you're raising 50 birds, you would need about 1,132.5 pounds of feed. So that's 23 50-pound bags of feed. But that's for 11 weeks.
Right. And
Right.
yes. And that's 50 birds. Right.
Right.
So for the average family eating one chicken per week,
Yeah.
about one
Right.
chicken per week. So
Right. Yeah, I would agree with your numbers there because when I do a batch of 50, I will at least go, okay, first off,
Jenny keeps really good records.
I did for years.
Yeah.
I don't do that so much anymore because I did it for so many years.
Well, you're kind of like, you're on your game. You know what to do.
So I start my meat birds out on game chicken starter because it has 28% protein on it. And so I'll do 1 or 2 bags of that in the very beginning and start them on that. And then I switch them to chick starter. Once I switch them to chick starter for 50 chickens, I'll get 15 bags of feed, and that carries me all the way through the end.
Okay.
But that's butchering it at like 8 weeks.
Right.
Your
yeah.
stat was for 11 weeks.
Right.
So it's probably really close.
Yeah. The reason I did 11 weeks is I kept finding that marker amongst Tractor Supply,
Right.
Do More, Purina. I was like, why?
Right. Why?
Why are they putting that out there?
Right.
But-
because their feed quality is lower than probably what we're feeding.
Maybe
And people
so.
are actually having to feed their birds for 11 weeks to grow them out because they're having
Right.
poor nutrition.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Trying birds a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So, on this, how much do you feed them? So in the first week, your day-old chicks, when you get them in the mail, are going to weigh about 1.5 ounces.
Okay.
Okay. In the first week, they're going to eat about 5 ounces of feed for the whole week. You want to make sure you start them on the starter, like you said, at least a 20% protein. So you're
Right.
doing game bird feed.
Game
That's
bird
28%.
feed, yep, 28%.
Okay, so in that first week, they're going to eat about 40% of their own body weight. They're going to gain, and you're going to increase for the second week about you're going to increase it by 10 ounces for the week per bird.
Right.
So this was if you were raising one bird, right?
Right.
And the more you do it, the more batches that you do, you realize like how many pounds is a scoop of feed kind of thing.
Right.
And you start measuring in scoops, not necessarily pounds or ounces.
Right.
By the third week, they're getting 14 ounces. And then after that, you're going to increase them 4 ounces per week per bird. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that 20% starter is recommended for at least the first 3 weeks. And
Yeah.
then you can drop down to an 18%. And it doesn't necessarily slow the growth down, but their growth rate is slower than what it was.
Right.
Even though they are growing. So they don't need that 20% anymore. We choose to leave them on 20% feed for the life.
Yeah. I go and get 15 bags and call it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Now your 18% is going to cost a little less,
Yeah.
but honestly, like our options for the mill that we buy from are 16% or 20%.
Okay.
So I just go with the 20.
Okay.
The
yeah.
16's for the layers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, okay, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You people that are listening out there,
Bored with numbers.
don't get analysis paralysis when you hear these numbers and
Yeah.
go, oh my gosh, no, I can't figure that out. No, just get the meat birds. Just go out, you know that you're going to buy multiple bags of feed. So just go ahead and go out, buy 5 bags or so,
Right.
and just see how it goes.
Right.
Like you don't have to measure their food. A good rule of thumb is in the first, is it 1 week or 2 weeks that you want to keep their feeders 100% full?
Oh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks, see, like how
Yeah.
many years have I been doing this?
Yeah.
For the first 2 weeks, you want to keep their feeders full 24/7.
Let them have as much as they
Let
want.
them have as much as they want. After 2 weeks, you're keeping their feeders full from sunup to sundown, and that's how you measure your feed.
Right. All right. Good note on feeders.
Yeah.
So speaking of feeders, what kind of feeders do you need?
Some people would totally disagree with this, but more often than not, I ground feed my meat chickens.
Me too.
When they're in the brooder, I do use feeders in the brooder, but
Right.
once they get big and they're out on pasture, I'm just ground feeding those birds.
Once they're on grass.
Yeah.
Me too. Throwing the feed to the ground, it's okay. They're not,
I mean, they're chickens. They scratch on the ground,
yeah, they're birds.
and do you lose a little bit of feed to the ground? Maybe.
Yeah, I find though, if you wet it first,
Right. That's
especially
another good
if
point.
you're using like a powdery kind of grind feed,
Yeah.
wetting it helps.
Yeah. So soaking your feed.
Yeah, so let's talk about saving some money on all this feed.
Right, because you're buying a lot of feed for those 50 meat chickens. So, if you can get I do mine in a 35-gallon barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I fill it halfway up with dry feed, and then I top the whole thing off with water.
Yeah.
And you let that sit it takes about 2 days for it to all totally soak in. But, it fluffs up your whole barrel of feed.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the feed like a wet cornbread,
Mm-hmm.
like a really,
It swells.
it swells and it makes so much more feed. So,
Right.
Um,
And if you let it ferment,
Yeah.
for some time, like after a couple of days, you'll start to notice a slight alcohol smell
Yeah.
with the fermentation. We actually add raw milk to ours, and so
Uh-huh.
it starts to smell like cheese.
yeah,
Like it smells delicious, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, like a sweet
Right.
cheese.
right.
So you'll smell that fermentation, and that's a good thing for the chickens and their digestive systems.
It's a very
it's-
good thing.
it's unlocking nutrients for them, making it more bioavailable, and it's also adding probiotics to their gut.
Right.
All good.
You're basically starting the digestive process for them
Mm-hmm.
by breaking down that feed, by fermenting it, so they can absorb more of the nutrients.
So they need less.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have actually seen this over and over again, and I haven't been doing that with the current batch that I have, and they're taking longer.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing it because the barrel that I use with the right lid that fits is on the other side of the property feeding another kind of animal. So-
Well, this sounds exactly like my life right now because the batch of meat chickens that I have right now, I'm not fermenting their feed because their barrel is the blue barrel that's down there by my chestnut trees. that
Too
I was
far from
using.
water.
Well, I was using it for the freeze because
Right.
my chestnut trees are babies, and so I did the
Right.
barrel of water
Yeah.
and then covered the barrel of water and the tree to keep everybody from freezing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so my fermentation barrel is down there, but I think we're done with freezes, so
I think so too.
I need to get it back down here so I can use
I
it.
said we need more barrels is what we need,
Right.
But yeah, so that's the number one trick I would give you to reduce the cost of your feed bill. Secondly, supplement.
Yeah. And
Kitchen
as a
scraps,
note-
garden scraps. Go
As a
ahead.
side note about soaking your feed, Tractor Supply feed does not soak.
It's like pellets, isn't it?
It's weird. Don't try to soak the Tractor Supply feed. It's not good.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, we do. Ours is a ground. What we get from a mill is a grind, and
Yeah.
it's powdery fine. So yeah, another thing I was gonna say, kitchen and garden scraps. Add that to their diet.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like having them on grass,
Yeah.
right? So running them on grass, they're gonna pick up bugs, extra protein. They're gonna pick up grass, extra nutrients, and it's good for them.
Right.
Green. But yeah, and then like I said, ours get skim milk because they're spoiled.
Right.
Because we have it.
'Cause you have it.
I mean, like we have it.
You have to do something with it.
Right. Nobody's going to buy the skim milk.
Right.
We don't really want to make cheese with skim milk when we can have whole fat cheese.
Right.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So water.
So for your meat birds, when they're little, I don't know, this isn't hard, y'all. It's
Right.
not. I mean, just make sure they don't run out of water.
Make sure they don't run out of water. And here's another hard lesson that you'll learn is the water that I have, the lid goes there's a lid on the top of it,
Right.
You gotta put your lids back on there because they will literally fly into the water and drown in the huge 5-gallon waterer.
That's not the kind of water we have.
So, if you have a lid on your waterer, put your lid back on the waterer. I know it's tempting just to stick a hose in there and turn the hose on and just leave it like that. Don't do it.
You'll lose birds.
You will lose birds.
Yeah, so I have a whole post about the best chicken waterer also, so you can check that out if you want. But honestly, it's not hard. Just make sure
Right.
they don't run out of water.
Right.
You'd be surprised. The thing about giving meat chickens water, even right now, my 40 to 50 meat birds, they're about 2 to 3 weeks out from butcher, and they go through twice as much water as my layer flock of 25.
Yeah, they go through a ton of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much water. And it's February. So if
Right.
you're doing this in July,
Right.
You just don't want to lose them to heat stroke. They are more prone to heat stroke and heart attacks and stuff like that. So you want to make sure they just don't run out.
Especially in the summer. I mean, Cornish cross, they were not built for Florida summers.
No.
It's not good. We don't do meat birds at all in the summer. Not only is it gross to butcher chickens when it's 98 degrees outside, the birds are miserable in the
Right.
summertime, so we just don't do them.
Well, and I find it takes longer to grow them out. Like the
Right.
feed conversion, and so it ends up costing too much. So we just don't do it.
Yeah, they're burning too many calories panting.
Right. I guess so. Yeah. So there is one waterer that I will say is excellent bang for your buck, and that's any brand. There's several brands out there, so I won't plug any one brand, but it's just a double walled waterer.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind, you can get them in different sizes. Get the biggest one you can afford. There's
Like
like
the
a
metal
7-gallon one. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I have with my meat chickens right
Yeah,
now.
that's the best thing. So
Yeah.
fill it up. It works like with a vacuum kind of suction, and at least once a day fill
Yeah.
it up. And that should be good. They hold up. They weather well. They easy to clean. You want to make sure that you're not accumulating too much algae. They're not plastic, so that even a lot of these plastic waters that say they're like UV protected or whatever, like no, they still crack from.
They crack. They do not last.
The handle pops off, which leaves a hole in
Right.
the top, and then you lose your vacuum, and then it'll never hold water. Like, it's such a pain in the butt.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
With something like chicken waterers, you truly get what you pay for. Spend the money on the metal expensive one.
I agree, and you won't be sorry.
Yeah, I've had my metal one for a few years now. Plastic ones, lucky to last a year.
So that brings us up to butchering, right?
Yes.
So we do have a butcher guide on our website also. It's an easy downloadable, full of pictures, very clear instructions. And then we offer a hands-on class every now and then. I have had a few people ask, when are we going to have a class?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know when well, I mean, we've got the convention coming up. I'm going to be butchering chickens all day at the convention.
Right.
I also just put up a blog post that is free, where you can read about butchering chickens. The guide that we have on our website is a little bit more detailed and it's much more
very
thorough.
detailed, yeah.
It's very detailed, and it's literally about raising meat chickens from start to actual finish. So it's got all the details in there, where the blog post just kind of touches on some things here and there, but it'll give you a good overview on butchering chickens, because it's really not that hard. I think the most important thing with butchering chickens is just having the appropriate tools, having them set up in a way that makes sense,
Right.
To where your workspace just flows. And then, I mean, once you butcher a couple of chickens, you pretty much got it.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike.
Right. So
Anyone can do it.
anybody can do it. And I mean, just get the meat chickens and get the materials to butcher them and just do it.
Just do it.
If you know that you're going to be doing this year after year after year, it might be smart to invest in a plucker. If you are unsure, they make the little pluckers that go on the drills.
Right.
You just put it on a drill and hit the drill button and it spins. You have to have somebody hold the chicken. So you could always use that for the first time. Or if
You
you're
can
just
hand
doing
pluck.
5 or a handful of birds, you could hand pluck them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We
I
used to
will
hand pluck.
right.
We did it. It worked. I mean, we
Right.
only invested in a plucker because we started doing so many at a time.
Right. Right. And so as long as you have the proper tools and you're scalding your birds properly,
Right.
butchering meat chickens is not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. Yeah. Anybody can do it.
Yep. So yeah, y'all check out the resources on the blog. You can just go and search through all of our chicken posts. We got a lot of meat chicken stuff on there.
We
So,
sure do.
And then the meat chicken guide from Hatchery to Butcher Day is in our shop on our website. And if you're local, come see us at the convention and you can watch us butcher chickens all day long.
That's right. Amongst other things.
Amongst other things.
It'll be fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, sounds good, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.